Hey everyone, Kyle once again. And welcome back to another Christmas movie review. Let's see, I got my Christmas hat on since of course Christmas is just a couple days away. So now the next review I'm doing is on one of the most beloved, in my opinion, one of the most beloved. I'm sure a lot of people agree, but one of the most beloved Christmas stories, and it's also personally one of my favorite ones of all time. And now I have here is, especially this year, celebrating its 50th anniversary. So 50th anniversary from 1964 is the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer 50th anniversary collector's edition. The Rudolph from 1964, like I said. And like I said, this is one of the most, I would say, that's probably on the list of one of the most beloved, like in the top 5 beloved Christmas stories ever. So, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like I say, I would say it's a real classic, especially in classic Christmas tales, And I always enjoyed the tale of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And what can I say about it? This is, like I said, there's only a few little features on it though, but but one of them like the Sam the Snowman's sing-alongs, Rudolph Unwrapped, like 50 trivias, about the original the original film, And before I said that, I know there was I can't remember, what was it, like a 10-minute or even less than that, like a 10-minute short story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1948. I do remember seeing that, and even when I was a little, very little, I remember seeing the original 1948 one, but I didn't know until now. I didn't know it was that short, So, I looked up the thing, and I looked it up before, and I found it was about like an 8-minute short, of the 1948 version of Rudolph, But that's not what I'm talking about the original 1964 though, the stop motion animated film, Well, the other film, the old one before this one, was traditional animated. This one was stop motion, and from 1964, the stop motion animation, phenomenal. Love the stop motion animation in this film, So talk about the classic tale of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, opens up with Sam the Snowman, telling about the story, of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, how it became to fame, Of course, in the North Pole, Santa's workshop, one of Santa's reindeer, Donner, has now have a son named Rudolph, and they notice he has a red nose, of course. And it's glowing. Santa comes to see him, sees the red nose as well. And they're concerned because because it's glowing, making noise, and the father, he tries to cover up his nose by putting some dirt, and then later puts like a black cap in it to look like a black nose, And as like it says, as Sam the Snowman keeps on telling the story, it's like he said about a year later, they're playing out some reindeer games, and one of them, and they see some other young reindeers as well. One young reindeer that Rudolph fancies, name, what was her name? Clarice. Get the yeah, Clarice. That's a young reindeer that Rudolph likes. And another one of Santa's reindeer, Comet, is like coach, to train them like how to fly, to be on Santa's reindeer team, to fly out his sleigh during Christmas, And they see that the Rudolph has like a good story, learning to fly until he fell down, And while they're I forget what when they're him and another young reindeer, I think they were playing, and then one of them let me see, and it is yeah, something happened, and Rudolph's cover, for his nose comes off, then everyone sees, his nose, and like one of the one that was what was the name, Fireball, I think it was. It is he says, get away from me, And everyone, of course, everyone knows the Tails, they used to laugh and call him names, and he gets upset, and even Santa says, what a shame, because he had such a good takeoff, and but Clarice doesn't think it's silly. I think she says that she likes his red nose, but her father goes and takes her away, says, I will not have my daughter hanging with a red-nosed reindeer, But that's not the only problem, because back in Santa's workshop, there's the working elves. There's one elf by the name of Hermie. He says he doesn't like building toys. He wants to be a dentist, And the boss elf, whatever, tells him, no, you're not gonna be a dentist. You're gonna make toys like all the other elves, So, but he doesn't like doing it. So he goes and sneaks outside, to hide from everybody, And that's when Rudolph feels he's not all alone, so he meets Hermie, and he wants to be independent, says, hey, I'll be independent with you. Why don't we be independent together, So they go and roll because they go off into this big storm, But as Sam, the snowman, keeps on telling him, there's something more dangerous outside, which is the abominable snow monster, the big, huge, abominable snow monster, or which of course it's abominable snowman either way, Snow monster, snowman, it's the same thing though, but they call it the abominable snow monster. And he says that he's getting attracted because of Rudolph's shiny red nose, and they try to hide, and they meet this what was it, prospector, or adventurer, explorer, whatever, by the name of Yukon Cornelius. Because he talks about how he's like he wants to find silver and gold, he wants so he can be rich, him and his little dog sleds have different dogs, like I said, the one was like a poodle and a Saint Bernard and a collie, and there's a couple other breeds, and they all come together, and they get chased by the abominable snow monster, and they come to the end of where towards the end of where the ocean is, and Cornelius uses pick to chip away from the ice where they're standing so they can float away, and because he says he knows a lot about the abominable snow monster, he calls him Bumble for sure, and he says he knows there's only one weakness. So as he steps into the water and he sinks, that's his weakness. He sinks, he can't swim, So they get away from him, and it goes to a fog. Well, it cuts back, to back at the North Pole where Donner, was feeling how he treated his son, so they go off look for him, and so does Rudolph's mother and Clarice. They go to find him together as well, So during it's a foggy night, and they hit the gang. They hit a ground, and they found they're at this place where it's an island for misfit toys. The toys that are now wanted by little boys and girls. Pardon me. Excuse me. So, and they see a a winged lion by the name of King Moonracer. He wants they talk to him, that they can, since they think they're abandoned misfits, they can live here, but they say it's only for misfit toys though, not for real life humans or animals, But they said they promised they could stay the night, And they said they promised if they ever get back to Santa's North Pole, tell Santa there's some toys here that he can that Santa can arrange that gives to some boys and girls, And this is only the one little the one thing, the little thing, it's not like a negative thing or anything, but one little nitpick with it, this King Moon Racer, he can fly, right? And he says he wants to tell them to tell Santa to there's a lot of toys, they can belong to little children, I'm thinking this guy can fly, right? Why doesn't he just fly to the North Pole and tell Santa this himself? There's some toys, and he can, whatever, But that was like the only nitpick there is though. Like, is why does this guy can fly, but he can't fly out to the North Pole and tells that to Santa himself that there's toys of misfit toys. But that was the only thing though. But that didn't bother me at all. But I was this one thing that got me thinking about it. But since they're supposed to stay the night, but Rudolph decides he wants to leave, because he doesn't want to put he doesn't want to put anyone else, his friends, in danger because of his red nose, So he sets out and leaves all on his own, So, but as time went on, Rudolph has grown older, has full full-grown antlers, and he's almost like a teenager, or almost adult, And he comes back to Santa's workshop and tells it, what was it, Santa that tells him that that his family are looking for him, So he heads back out and goes to the cave where the abominable snow monster is, and there the abominable snow monster has them captured, I think it was able to eat them, If they said that the family has been out for months looking for him, and if they've been captured just now, or if or the abominable snow had him there for all that time, why did he just get it over with and eat them, whatever, But I guess they found him at the last second, I guess. But when the Rudolph steps in, he makes, I guess he somehow made the snow creature trip or something, and he started hitting him with his antlers, and the snow monster takes one of those cave teeth and hits him down, hits Rudolph down, Pardon me. But then Cornelius and Hermie, they devise a plan to distract the abominable snow monster, pretend to Hermie say an animal sound that wants to lure him out, and then Cornelius throws a large snowball at him in the head, and when he's down, he then hits him with a bigger rock, then he knocks him out, and then they all greet each other that Rudolph tells about as friends, and then the abominable snow creature looks like he sees him, and it looks like Hermie's there's no need for concern, because since Hermie wants to be dentist, he goes and pulls out all the snow monster's teeth out, So now he can't eat nobody, And Cornelius is like, oh, he's not scaring me. Let me at him, And him and his dogs, they push well, they all fall off the cliff. Cornelius and his dogs and the snowman, they all fall off the cliff, and they all rest of them. They think he's dead, So they head back to Santa's workshop, and tells that the Christmas will be canceled because there's heavy weather, big snowy weather, but Santa gets the idea of Rudolph's bright shiny nose, in which of course he says, from the song, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight, And also, I think it was before or after, that the Cornelius, he returns, he's alive and well, that he has well, I want to say that of course they say, they thought you were dead, but he said that don't you maybe telling you that Bumbles, they bounce, he bounces, so I guess he bounced off the cliff, he fell off the cliff and he bounced all the way back up, I guess, and he has I guess he tamed him, I guess, because he has a job. He said he has a job for Santa, but they put the star on top of the tree, And that's what before Santa says all that stuff to Rudolph, So with his nose, so he planned to use Rudolph to guide his sleigh, because it was red nose. First, they all sing a song about it, and then the Santa he they all head out. First they head to the island of misfit toys. They all jump into his sack, and they'll fly away and dropping off some presents down, and that's when the it ends, with the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, So, and Santa saying Merry Christmas, and Rudolph's nose beeping, and heading off into the night, and that's the end. That's the end of it, And like I said, I always enjoyed this the original 1964 version of Rudolph, The stop motion animation was, especially for back in 1964, absolutely terrific, The voice cast, were really great. The voices, Billie Mae Richards as Rudolph, was good. All the other cast members, Sam the Snowman voiced by Burl Ives were great. Was good. All the other cast members do a good job. Even even the 2003 film Elf, with Will Ferrell. You even see Sam the Snowman talking to Will Ferrell in the film as well. I thought that was a kind of funny thing. In Elf, you get to see Sam the Snowman, talking to Will Ferrell. Also, Larry D. Mann as Eugen Cornelius. He was good. Even though, at the end of the film, he said he was looking for silver and gold, and he says he throws his pick up and picks up and licks it. That's what he did the last two times he did. To look for silver and gold. He says, "Peppermint. This is what I've been looking for. Peppermint." I'm just looking at what the ratings this film had. Even the film was not even that long a film. I think it was under it was under an hour film. I would say about, when the film ended, I would say about 50 some minute. So it wasn't that long of a film. So and I would definitely put this on my within my top 5 favorite Christmas films, and of course one of them is the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, that Boris Karloff voiced in it, Look at the ratings that this has an 8.2 on IMDb. Think that is a very good rate for it. And I'm just looking at what it has on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm pausing to see what it has. It has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So 8.2 on IMDb, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's great. Especially for an old-time classic Christmas tale like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Of course, there has been other variations. Like I said, the one before this, the 1948 8-9 minute short of it, from 1948, which I think, because that's when I saw it a little, I did like that one, but I always preferred this one more than the 1948 version. And of course, there was one called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie, that was released in 1998, I believe. One of the voices, John Goodman voiced Santa Claus. That one got more negative feedback. That one has a 40% Rotten Tomatoes, and it was like a flop, which had said like a $10 million budget, and made barely over 113,000. That was it, I haven't seen it though, but I always prefer this one though the most, I would say 99% prefer this one the most, and of course the one I said about the 1948 version, which I do like. I do like the film. I do like a little bit less now that I've seen it as of recent. Well, I definitely felt different how I felt what I saw as a kid, years ago though. But I always saw this special the most, and I always loved Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was always be forever one of the classic Christmas tales, the likable characters like Sam, the abominable snow monster, Cornelius, Hermie, you know, the reindeer and everything, especially, and of course, Rudolph himself, you know. You know, you look at in the film, cute, you know, cute little reindeer, you know. Stop motion, like I said, stop motion animation for 1964 was like great back then, you know. Um, and celebrating 50 years, you know, 50 years, you know, 1964, 2014, you know, deserves a 50th anniversary edition, you know. Celebrating 50 years, and it's still, I have to believe it's still, I always say it's still beloved and liked today as it was 50 years ago, you know. And of course, 50 years onward ever since, you know. So yeah, that's my review for the 1964 version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 50th anniversary, you know. If you still haven't seen this this classic Christmas tale, I would definitely advise checking out. Of course, probably like, I would say like more than 90% have seen this though, but if there hasn't, anyone who still hasn't, I would still advise watching this. You know, if you want to plan to watch this on Christmas, well, more power to you, you know, to watch this on Christmas Day, you know. And I definitely will watch this on Christmas Day because it's a very special one that I've always loved and enjoyed, you know. So yeah, so this is my review for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964, worth celebrating 50 years for, you know. So thanks for watching, take care, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.